Before speaking, please give your full name and address for the minutes, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes, and this should be pertaining to things not on the agenda further on tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I do have a few comments. First of all, I want to ask you if there will be a time to speak on the fee when that comes up.
Yes,
Okay.
there is a public hearing.
Okay, then I just got a comment. I watched your work session. I was very pleased, the lively discussion between the mayor and Roger, both points of views, handled very well. I was disappointed in the comment that it was an argument. I thought everybody's opinion was very, very good in a discussion, and according to these rules of conduct, I hope that people that sign that follow it, because there was a comment made, if you don't stop arguing, I'm out of here. I didn't appreciate that. I thought it was a lively discussion, two good points of view. If you don't mind, I'd like to use a point of view that a citizen came up to me and said to me after that discussion, after he watched the tape. My wife taped it. And if the administrator doesn't mind, I use you as an example. If you don't mind, it's no pun. I don't want to criticize anybody. But the one opinion, as I see it, is you've always said if you buy good stuff, good tools, you don't have to buy two. And as I watch this budget and the spending, I'm going to use a little example of my own. If we got a good administrator, maybe we wouldn't need that second one.
Well, Mr. Janke, I do
Right,
want to just insert, I think that is summarily unfair.
No, I asked. No, I'm just using an example. Chuck, I don't, and he shook his head. I'm just using that as an example, and I could use that to anyone. But as I see the spending and the issues raised, Mr. Mayor, I do see that it seems to be a rubber stamp for everything except, one particular person who was voted in by a large majority, and I don't think the thoughts of the people are being followed here. And I did say, and I did ask that, and it might not be the case. I'm not. That's why I was very clear. I just wanted to say an example.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't necessarily mean just by hiring more people, spending more money, the golf course things, and I could go on all night about, but it doesn't seem to see, there's no no's anymore. N-O, I mean like no's, and like I said, there's scenarios. So I can see your side and I can see Roger's side, but that's all I want to comment on it. And again, I was just using him as example. I could have used any other council as example. So that's all I got to say about that.
Okay, thank you, David.
So take a good look at those other sides. There is scenarios there too.
Well, there's many sides to every issue.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Again, David Janke, 8428 Eastwood Road. On the franchise fees, one of the problems I really have is when this franchise fees was put on, they promised us that it was only temporary to get us through. It was supposed to stop being on our utility bills. It now hasn't stopped. Not only hasn't stopped, but it's going to go higher. And my problem is these type of promises, and many more I've spoken of, but we haven't got time to bring them up, gets to be something else. And another question I have on this, how could it go from the first hearing from 2.5 to 4 point, when I thought the first hearing is a public hearing? I didn't see anything in the paper, or was it in there? Nothing was. Don't we have to publish a public hearing when we do this?
I can have the attorney address that, but I checked into that, and our code does not require a public hearing for the passage of an ordinance. I'm going to speculate now on the intent of that, is that once the ordinance is adopted, the community has a chance to petition and overturn that. Granted, it's a lot of work, but that is how the rules are written as they stand.
So if this is passed, we have an opportunity to overturn this
Absolutely, yeah.
As with any ordinance.
within the charter.
Yes.
Following them rules, the signatures of the last vote and all of that business.
Any ordinance passed by this council can be challenged by the
Okay.
process set forth in the charter.
Let me ask you a question, Dan.
Yes.
Do you think it's right to let us know that it was 2.5 and then in the middle of it to change it to 4? I mean,
And in
know,
response
I
to
mean-
that, I will say this, maybe not just speaking to this, but all ordinances. The first reading is to basically introduce it to not only the council, but to the viewing audience. The reason you have 2 readings is so that you have the time between the first reading and the second reading, an opportunity to tweak it, add it and stuff. Almost every single ordinance that has come past my eyes that I've had to sign has ended up in a different form than it was introduced as in the first
Okay.
reading. And so with that, that grants the council an opportunity to discuss it and change their mind if need be between meetings.
that, you answered my question. I mean, and I necessarily don't, like going from that, but you answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
This is going to be short.
Certainly.
Dave Janke, 8428 Eastwood Road. Okay, and I just want a quick summary here. And I don't believe that anybody, and I kind of even resent the statement, most people do want to pay for their stuff. There's 2 things that happened here, Dan. It went from 2.5 to 4. That caused a lot of, problem. That's our communication thing again, and I think we've talked about this. That's one thing that people, I heard, they said, well, wait a minute, 2.5 to 4, so let's try to prevent that. The other thing is here's the fear of people. They've been told so many things about things, and it has changed. Okay, this fee you said, I thought I heard you say, is going to go into a road fund. I don't even have a problem with that. My goodness, let's build up a fund like 30 million or whatever it is. I don't even have a problem with that. But if it goes into the general fund, just like the general fund is going to bail out the golf course for $200,000. So now the people are thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to put the 4% in this general fund, and if the golf course gets worse, we're going to sink another 200. See, these are the fears of the people when these things happen. And as far as the back room, I'm going to say to you, Dan, since you've been in office, we've talked about different things. You even called and apologized about a statement you made, so I really commend that honesty. I don't ever think, and so far you haven't given me no reason to do the backroom comment that was made, because you did. I mean, that's the first mayor that apologized for a statement. So, that was very commendable. But here's the problems and the citizens' concerns. They really are, and you got to take a good look at that. 2.5 to 4. Gosh, nobody said anything. And like I said, and they are fearful. I'm sure that they do want their roads fixed. And now it goes to this general fund, and that's why I say administrating this has got to be administrated so that things like, and I liked your idea, I really did, so I don't want to take no more time.
That's fine, David. If I can just 2 things. One, stick around for item number B here.
Okay.
That is if we can still stay asleep or stay awake that long. Sorry, it's Freudian. Because that will designate it. And for the communication thing, I have been one of the big proponents of putting every commission on cable TV. The only commission that presently is not is a charter commission. And I will be asking for them once again to consider televising their meetings because it's the citizens' charter, not the commission's charter.
Well, B, that'll be on TV, because my wife tapes all these meetings, so I would like.
Buy more tapes, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, Council, once again, it seems like everybody's misconstrued my earlier comments. Neither here nor there. Unbelievable. This is just unbelievable. It's the perception, and Dave touched on about the communication problem. Nobody said, I did not say or accuse anybody of this being a backroom deal, nor did I do it with the 2 mayors ago on Tony Jamber and the Bell Ray or the water meter deal. That was the perception. That was the perception. My biggest problem with this is, I think, I mean, $30 million of White Bear's got terrific. You live on the interest. Wouldn't that be nice to be that way? You know, let's knock the assessment down to 10%. But it's the perception. I have not read the Road Commission's report, and you said the recommendation was knock the assessment down to 25% and an outside funding source to pick up that additional. Did it say in the report a 1.5% increase in the franchise fee? See, now there's the communication thing again. There's the communication thing again. And this thing has been rushed along. It was discussed in a work session. Now we'll get first and second reading today and an act, and you guys act on it. That's where the difference from attending a road commission's meeting, that's not enactment. That's recommendations. That's discussion. You guys tonight are attempting to actually enact something. That's where, I mean, one of my frustrations over the years has been the difficulty in getting word out to the community. But I just think there's got to be a little better notification, because now it is enactment time. You've brought it to that, and now it's a charter city, now you need the citizens' input. Citizens' input is great at committee levels and commission levels, that's wonderful, but you're making a decision now. And that's why my whole deal is, I'm just saying the perception would be a backroom deal, because, the mayors that were in place when some of these other things went by, hey, I know they're honorable guys, they're great guys, and I know they didn't do a backroom deal. But I go over to my brother-in-law's house that lives 4 blocks over from me, and how many years ago was the water meter thing? He's still madder than hell about it, because it's still there. And he said they blew it right by him. He never got a chance to talk about it. And we all know what happened with the Bellray. That was, the way that thing was handled, the way that council handled, was disaster. Pure disaster. The Focus 2000 meeting says we need a community center. Well, I don't know if you guys remember how that thing, I mean, all of a sudden, one day, we own the Bellray, huh? So, and I just, I mean, there's no backroom deals, of course, but that was the perception. So I just think that let's break that mold, and let's try something different. Let's try to get the people a little more involved in this. Just because, I mean, most of us know the importance of what this is. And most of us realize that, yes, we do have to pay for our streets. But I don't want to listen to the people that come up to me and say, you know what they did to us this time, because I get it probably almost as much as you guys do, because I'm still working in town. So I didn't accuse you of a backroom deal, believe me, but it's that perception, so, thank you. Rob.
Well, the Streets Committee has been before the council a number of times, and they've been before work sessions, they've been televised. The Streets Committee never asked for or projected, said, well, you've got to raise the franchise fee. This has come up in council discussions and in our work sessions. This is where we've talked about it a number of times. For those of you who've been here or watched or cared enough to tune in to watch council meetings or work sessions, you'd know about it. So this is nothing new. We're just trying to put it in black and white here, and we're trying to spell out exactly where it's going, exactly where the funds are coming from, and exactly what they're to be spent on, which are the streets. And actually, the only conversations I've had about this have been in this chamber. And so I don't know where the backroom stuff came from, but I can assure you, If there is